Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and these are your questions answered for this week. Every week, I ask people to ask me questions, basically, and the next week I answer those questions. So we got some pretty great questions. I had to do a lot of digging in my collection to find some of the books that were requested. I didn't find everything though, so I did try. I really did try. Um, Actually, I know where some of the ones that were asked for are, but they are literally at the bottom of about 4 or 5 stacks and a few rows in deep within my closet. So sorry, and you'll see which ones I referred to, but you'll see it'll be great. There'll be some amazing stuff shown. I'm hoping you guys will enjoy my answers. So the first question comes from Alexander Klimsky, and he asked, did you ever collect foreign comics such as Spanish and etc.? So yes, it would be the simple answer to that question. I collected foreign Warren publishing, but also when I was in Sweden, I did pick up some books. So I'm going to show you some that I picked up while I was in Sweden, just because I actually didn't have the American versions of these books. So I'll show you what I mean. So this was Amazing Spider-Man. This is the Swedish version. At the time, I didn't own this in the American edition, but I later picked it up. But this was I think this was like 1990, so it was reprinted much, much later. And it was 35 kroner, so which is about $3. So yeah. And then I got another one. This is Kalboldig. I probably mispronounced that totally. And this is just another one I thought was cool. And this is from 1993. So much later reprints. Also, as I said, I did collect foreign issues of Warren Publishing. So we got Crypta, and I have the complete run of Crypta. This is Crypta #1. And my Warren foreign collection is actually pretty massive. It's about 1,000 magazines, I'm gonna guess. Somewhere in there. Maybe more. I don't know. It's probably about 1,000. So those, to answer those questions, so those are some of my foreign ones. How do you value something that is half a point higher but off-white to cream pages to something that is off-white to white pages? Okay, so a lot of the time people who really get into page quality will generally give a little bit more value within a grade for that better page quality. So if you have like an 8.5 and it's cream to off-white versus off-white to white, you can maybe get a bit more. Maybe not as much as half, as a point difference, but you'd get like the premium within that grade for that book. Generally, most people kind of don't really pay attention to it unless it's two extremes. And the two extremes are if it's brittle or slightly brittle, those generally will get less value, like maybe even a lot less value than books that have better page quality. White pages also, at the other extreme, can command a bit more money because people want that 9.8 white page book. That's the ideal, right? So white pages can command a little bit more money, and people will market that because they do, it has that prestige of being a little bit better quality. Often, though, between those points, most people don't really focus on the quality of the pages for the most part in terms of valuing them. People do search for it, but they want the higher page quality generally, but it doesn't really impact the price from what I can see. So that's how you value it. It's more of a personal preference than it is really affecting the value of the book. Other things that are more important that affect the value of the book are more the grade points, and within the individual grades, how well does the book present? Is it faded? Does it have like severe creasing? Does it have things that really detract from the look of that book? Because page quality is more of an internal thing, it doesn't command as much respect as some of these things that are much more blatantly obvious to the viewer of the book. So that's, I hope that answers your question. Next question comes from K. Munin. Have you ever collected trading cards? Yes, I did, sort of. I had like some hockey cards when I was a kid. And I actually had a pretty good hockey card collection. Like they were like mostly early 80s and 70s. Like I had I had the rookie card of Paul Coffey. And I had a few other kind of key hockey cards. But I was really poor during my university, and I took my entire collection of hockey cards and I went to some hockey card shop and I sold them all for about $10. So I basically lost a lot of money on them, but I was desperate for money at the time, so I basically sold them for $10. Kind of a sad thing, but that's what happens when you I was collecting other things at the time and didn't really value my cards as much as I probably should have. The other question you asked is, do you own any Star Wars comics? Yes, I do. Actually, I have a complete run of Star Wars, the first series of Star Wars. And I do have some of the modern stuff. Like I actually have like a lot of the key first appearances of modern characters, like Dr. Aphra and Sabine Wren. What's his name? The one that was just in the show. Why am I forgetting his name? Like that's how bad the show was. Ahsoka Tano I have as well. And Grand Emperor Thrawn is the one I was trying to remember. Yeah, so I have all their first appearances. But I really prefer the older books. I prefer the original Star Wars series. I didn't really like any of the recent stuff from Star Wars, but yeah, that's like I think Ahsoka Tano was okay, like so, like not too bad. It was watchable, maybe it was a little bit boring actually, but I made it through it. So, but the next question you asked was, which is my favorite Star Wars character? Well, when I was a kid, and probably still to now, I liked, like my favorite characters were obviously the original cast. So I liked Han Solo, I liked Chewbacca, I liked Princess Leia, and I liked Yoda. But my favorite character, and the one that I kind of related to the most, was Luke Skywalker. Mainly because Luke Skywalker lived in a small town kind of thing and I was the same thing. Like when I was growing up, I lived in a small town of like a couple hundred people, and I kind of can relate to him being on a farm town and wanting to get out into the big world. I could relate to that very much, and also I could relate to the fact that, you know, having this kind of opportunity to become like a Jedi. I just like that idea of, like, you know, having special powers and force. I just thought it was really a cool arc that you take this boy out of like the country, a country bumpkin boy, and make him a Jedi Knight, which I really enjoyed. And I'll show you a book that I had from my childhood, and it's beaten up because it is from my childhood. This is my Star Wars #1 magazine. And this was actually not really mine. I sort of acquired it from my brother. So yeah, but I really love this cover. And I actually liked Darth Vader too. I thought he was pretty cool. And yeah, if you look at the back of these, they're pretty amazing books, actually. I wish I had kept or we had kept better care of it. So just a really cool book. So yeah, I figured that might be interesting. Okay, next question comes from Lord. Are you into Conan? If so, which is your favorite cover? Well, my favorite cover, and did I bring it? Where did I put it? Oh yes, I did. I was like, where did I put it? That'd be really bad. Is actually just Conan #1. There's something about this book. I just love it. I just love the cover, and I just love the. Like, I have like many of the books from the Conan series, but this is still my favorite cover. And the reason being, it just something about it is like very barbarian like. Just his pose, the girl that's like, the maiden in distress, I guess. And you got this guy that's sort of off panel, and he's like obviously threatening Conan with something or other. I find it really interesting. And then you get these weird, like gargoyle-like creatures in the background. I don't know. There's just something about this cover. He's about to throw a spear. He's like swinging his sword. He's just doing it all. I don't know. Something about this cover I always liked. So this is a Barry Windsor Smith cover too, and it's classic cover. Go with the classic sometimes. So that's my favorite Conan the Barbarian cover. Mark Webb asked, did you get into classic horror magazines like Creepy and Eerie, or horror magazine style horror comics? Yes. Simple answer. And I actually brought with me to show you, I actually collected all of the Warren Publishing books. So Creepy and Eerie are both from Warren Publishing. And I have the entire run of everything from Warren Publishing. So I brought a few Creepy and Eerie's to show you, and hope you like the ones I brought. I'll bring out. So these are later issues. I actually have the whole run, as I said, but these are later issues, and they were kind of interesting. You got these kind of weird covers. I like the earlier covers better, but I'll just show you some of the later ones. So that's 102. And the 103, and these are just in order. Oh, you can see how much I paid for them. I paid $2 for this. Robots, Creepy Robots. So this is 104, and this is more like a better cover. This is Creepy 105. I'll show you some more. I'm going to show a bunch, so I feel bad for not having as many of the books that I wanted to show, and for the other things. So I'm going to show some of these instead. So I like this cover a lot, actually. It's got that kind of classic sword and sorcery kind of cover. So this is Creepy 106. This is a nice sci-fi cover, 107. And this is just a really, really interesting cover. This is Creepy 108 and Creepy 109. So these kind of sci-fi like covers. And then let me show you some Eerie's. Okay, actually, I can show you some more Creepies. I'm going to show some more Creepies. So because this box is like the last issues in the runs. So actually, there's actually one extra Creepy that is not from Warren. This is Creepy 146, which is they brought it back with Harris Publishing, and this is quite a hard book to find. So Creepy 106 or 146, and then it has actually a cool back as well. San Julian cover, or Fazetta, actually. That's a Fazetta cover. Yeah, great Fazetta cover. Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, and then I have all the yearbooks since they're all in this box. So here's the yearbooks. This is 1968 yearbook, 1969, 1970, and it shows like the different covers. Some of these covers are pretty cool. These are Fazetta covers. And then we got annual 1971, and the Creepy Spooktacular Annual, number from 1972. Those are all the annuals. And then I'll show you some Eerie's, I mean. So I'll just grab a bunch of Eerie's. This one's a kind of a cool cover, similar to that weird creepy one. So this is Eerie 103. I like the girl on it. I think it's some demons and a girl. And then we got 104. This guy being picked up by this weird alien bug. And then we got 105. This is a cool nuclear bomb one. One sec here. 106. I was paying like $2 to $3, and I would get, like, I actually buy a bulk of them and get them for like half price. I was getting these so cheap, like usually $1 or $2. So this is Eerie number 107. So you'll see like $3 price tags on them, but I was paying much less. This is this is actually one that kind of censoring there. Kind of a cool spider cover. This is 108. 109. Like praying mantis-like character. Another cute girl. And then we got 110. 111. This is William DeBay. 111, or 112, sorry. 113. And then I'll show you the last issue of this one. And I'll show you some of the early yearbooks. One sec here. So this Eerie ran to 139. So this is the last issue, 139. And it only had one yearbook. So 1970 yearbook. Which is actually a really nice cover. So that's the Eerie and Creepy. I hope that was good. Now I gotta put them all away. But yeah, so those are some of my Creepy and Eerie collection. It's actually about 5 or 6 boxes that I have of Creepy and Eerie. Most of them are foreign issues though that I have. So the Creepy and Eerie's are just 3 boxes, and then I have like a bunch of foreign ones. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. And I actually brought as well, because hey, some modern ones. So a company called Warrant actually brought back some of these sword and sorcery and like Vampirella style and Creepy and Eerie style books. So we got Vampiress Carmella. And we have, this is very Eerie-like cover. This is number 5. And I actually have like the full run of this as well. This book is particularly interesting and one that I recommend people search for if you can find it. This is Vampiress Carmella, number 6. And this is actually the very last published artwork by Richard Corbin before he died. So kind of a cool book, one to look for. That's his last cover. So those are some cool books. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Next comes from Scribbly. Wow. Scribbly. I'm totally messing up your name. Scribbly, Libby. So Schooly, Ribbly. It's a really interesting name. It's like I wrote it down really weird way. So school, Libby and Libby. Okay, so interesting handle. I totally messed it up. I figured it'd be entertaining to leave that in with me messing it up like a million times. So I hope you enjoyed that, me messing up your name. Sorry about that. All the Marvel zombie covers are homages of earlier Marvel books. As you love homages, I'm wondering if you have these. If you can show them side by side with their originals. Okay, so I actually have the complete run of Marvel Zombies 1, 2, and 3, I believe it is. However, those are the books that were hidden like in my back closet. I don't know why I put them there, but that's how they are. I actually bought them as bundle sets, but then I put it with some other books that just got buried in my closet. So Marvel Zombies 1, though, is an homage to Amazing Fantasy. So I might as well show my Amazing Fantasy. So I figured if I can't show the actual Marvel Zombies, I'll show what it's homaging. So imagine this with zombiness to it, and that would be Marvel Zombies 1. The next one is Marvel Zombies 2, and it homages the Avengers number 4. So this is Avengers number 4, which is the return of Captain America. So those are the those are the ones that have homages that I have handy. The next homage was for number 3. I believe it's like Hulk, the one where it's like where he's reflecting Wolverine or Wolverine's reflecting him, Hulk in the blades. Does that make sense? And that's like Hulk something. Yeah. I forget what the ones after that. There's a bunch of homages though. One is like Spider-Man, where it's like the one where it's like the wedding issue. I also have that. I just don't know where it is. So I have pretty much all the real books and I have the whole Marvel Zombies. So I have the books that kind of match those, but finding them has been a bit of an annoying thing. You should see the mess that I created over there trying to find my Marvel Zombies and the proper homage books because I couldn't. I don't know what happened. I don't know where they are. I have to really organize my comics. I was finding things that were just totally out of place, so I was very disappointed. But I tried. I'm sorry. So the next one is Martin Bow asked, do you have any Street Sharks comic books? Actually, I only have Street Sharks number 1. And the reason I bought it actually was I was competing on The Hunt. And my team, it was like a team thing where it was myself, Biggie Shack, and Perm, who is Man Cave. And so the 3 of us were up against 3 other guys. And one of the guys that we were up against was Roscoe. And Roscoe, he showed Street Sharks number 1. Now I showed, so he got the most votes from his team, and I got the most votes from my team. My book was Wonder Woman number 1 from 1940s, and he won. He won that round, and I was so upset that he won that I went out and bought Street Sharks so that when I ever battled him in the future, I could show my Street Sharks number 1 and just sort of toss it as a sign of disrespect, as a joke, But so that's the reason I have Street Sharks in my collection. I have no idea where I put it though. So that whole opportunity to pull out my Street Sharks and do it, I'm not even sure how I'm going to do it because I don't know where my Street Sharks number 1 is. I got to look for it. I got to find it. So again, bad organization, just a sheer mess of my long boxes. I have like 34 long boxes that need to be sorted out and another 20 short boxes. It's just a mess. And it's like I can't find anything. But I did find other things for the next question. Okay, the next question is, could you show some of your Terry Toons comics? So yes, I can show some Terry Toons comics, starting with Terry Toons number 1. So yeah, we got all this is kind of a cool cover. I like the fact that the little guy is reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, and the guy that he's with is like just like got a Tommy gun, just like ready. He's gonna shoot everybody. So yeah, I think that's kind of cool. So just a cool book. That's Terry Toons #1. The other Terry Toons that I have is Terry Toons number 38, which is the first appearance of Mighty Mouse. And I was a big Mighty Mouse fan, so this is a really cool book for me. I was super excited to win this in an auction. I kind of overpaid for it, but definitely a book that I thought was really great to have in my collection. So this is Terry Toons number 38. And it's like a VG plus. That's what what's it called? Heritage Auctions graded it at. So VG plus copy. So those are my Terry Toon collection. That's my entire Terry Toon collection, except like I have some random ones that I would have to search for. They're not necessarily big key issues. Okay. Next question is from Hazu or Hazu. And he asked, we need more on that girlfriend stalking story. Haha. So in the last Q&A video, I talked about how one of my ex-girlfriends, actually it was a Chinese girl, who was stalking me. And what it was is, it was kind of weird situation. So we had broken up, but she still had my apartment key. So I was like, I was like sleeping or something really weird. Like I was just like totally, I think I was sleeping at the time. And all of a sudden I hear my front door opening in my apartment, and in comes my ex-girlfriend. It was like, oh, so it was a bit of a shock. And she's like, begging me to be her boyfriend again. But I actually was already dating the woman I eventually married. So I was like, no, no. So I was like, can I have my apartment key back? And she was kind of like a little bit weird afterwards. And like every time I saw her on the street, she would, like, because it was a small town we were in, like, it was like Halifax, Nova Scotia. And every time I saw her, and like I just seemed to be in the same circles as her, it was always a bit of a weird situation. So that's pretty much the whole story. It's not super stalkery. The girlfriend before her was much more stalky. She would really, I don't know what is with, I had some crazy girlfriends. I don't know. So yeah, that's that story. Jerry Wilson asked, can you show off Terry Toons? Okay, I showed that. Red Rock Shane asked, who is your favorite B tier villain? Okay. And who is your favorite superhero? Okay, so my favorite B tier villain, and I'm cheating to do this. This is my way of cheating, is Catwoman. She's a villain, but she's also, she's a good girl too. I like women characters, so I really like Catwoman. She's like one of my favorite characters. And this is her first cover appearance in Batman. This is Batman 42. First cover appearance of Catwoman in Batman title. She actually made an earlier cover appearance in Detective 122. So, but this is still a cool book. So, first cover appearance of Catwoman, and that's my favorite villain. My favorite hero, B tier, would be, where did I put it? Oh, right here. Would be Vampirella. I think Vampirella would be considered B tier. So we got Vampirella. And I just thought this was a sexy one. I also brought this because it's a foreign issue. So I thought that might be interesting for the person that was asking me about foreign books and do I collect them. So this one is, I believe, it's in, this is another crypta. So this would be like, is this Argentinian? Or I'm thinking one of those ones. So yeah. So those are my two my favorite villain, favorite hero. How do I become a friend of the channel? So I often will say, oh, they're a friend of the channel, like referring to people like Night Tiger Comics or Black Box Silver and Bronze or Steve Gentner, who is Collecto6. So I refer to them as friends of the channel. To become a friend of the channel is not that hard. Just hang out with me for a little while and I'll eventually call you my friend. So it's just people that I have grown to know through the comic channel, and I call them my friends. So I always say friend of the channel. And they've also all have been people that have donated to the channel in a way. They've sent me books. So that's another way to become a friend, is send me books. And I'll be like, hey, I'm your friend. Oh. So, I don't know. So yeah, next question comes from TJ. Were there any Golden Age sword and sorcery comics? Do you have any to show off? Well, this one was actually a hard one to answer because there are a few. There wasn't many. And there were no real specific sword and sorcery comics like fully that way, except for maybe Prince Valiant. And that's more like Arthurian, like kind of like Knights of the Round Table kind of style of, like, it's not that, but it's kind of in that more knights and shiny armor style. But there was a few others. There was Fairy Tale Parade, which had like stories of different like fairy tales and fantasy. There was also Fantastic Comics, which had a series, like a character within it, like it was an anthology book. And in Fantastic Comics, there was a character called the Golden Knight, who would be more, again, sword and sorcery-ish. Not like Conan the Barbarian, but more, again, Knights of the Round Table style. So those are the ones that I can think of. However, I did find another take on that kind of sword and sorcery is kind of Arabian Nights kind of style, where you got Dagar the Desert Hawk. And this is the only, like, I actually collect this series. It's more like Arabian Nights, but there are sometimes, there's swords and there's sorcery in it as well. And it's sort of like Conan if he was Arabian, I guess would be the best way to say it. It's like a lot of scantily clad women and, swashbuckling and stuff like that. Bit of that Conan feel if it was Arabian. So this is Dagar the Desert Hawk. And yeah, I'm actually pretty close to completing that run as well. I'm only one book away from getting the complete run of Dagar. So that's all the questions for this week. If you have a question you would like to ask me, put it in the comments below and I will do my best to answer it, and hopefully I can find the books. I'm sorry for all the people that I couldn't find the books to show. I really did try, but sometimes my collection is a bit unwieldy and I can't always find the books that I'm looking for. So again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.